Good evening, everyone. I'm Ed Gordon, coming to you live from Los Angeles. Tonight, O.J. Simpson sits for his first television interview since his acquittal of the double murder charges of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and Ronald Goldman. Mr. Simpson, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to be here, Ed.
Let's start off with this, Mr. Simpson. There are people who simply think it's a travesty that you and I sit here tonight and talk about your situation. What do you say to those folks?
Well, I'm a little surprised by it. I was surprised by it immediately when I first attempted to talk on TV. I was surprised by the reaction to a certain special interest group. They didn't want me to speak. This is America, I'm told. I'm as innocent as anyone else out there. I think one of the great things about this country is our right to speak. People seem to, early on, people seem to be speaking for me. When I would watch TV, I would hear certain talk show hosts and pundits talk about what I was doing and what I was thinking, and they would have their, analysts on analyzing what I was saying and what I was doing and how I was feeling. So I thought the best way to shortcut or circumvent all of that is to just come on TV and tell everybody what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling. And I was surprised at that point to find that there were people that didn't want me to speak even at that point.
Yeah.
For nothing.
Let's see if we can do some of that tonight. Cut to the chase, if you will.
Yeah.
There are people still today who believed you murdered your ex-wife and Ronald Goldman. There are also people who suggest that maybe if you didn't do that, you know exactly what happened that night. Now, I know you've said that you're completely innocent, but I have to ask this as you might have imagined on your way over here.
Yes.
Let's go over that. Did you indeed commit those murders?
No, I did not commit those murders. I couldn't kill anyone, and I don't know of anyone that was involved. Anything that I might say along those lines would be pure speculation.
So why is it so hard for the majority, if we believe the polls, of white America and a fairly decent number of black Americans to believe you?
Tough question. One, I don't believe the polls, for one, judging by the people that I've been exposed to, both white and black Americans. But since the polls, the negative part of the polls, as far as I'm concerned, is white America, I can tell you, everywhere I've gone, I've been welcomed and treated with respect. And the general the sentiment that I get, not only in my front yard, or I should say on the street outside of my front yard, or when I go into restaurants, and especially when I went to Panama City, the people were truly tremendous down there. They made me feel welcome. They made me, I think the general sentiment, and I get it outside of the walls of my house from people, from women, white women from Iowa and Georgia, even South Africa, hey, go on, they say congratulations, which is a tough thing to accept, but go on with your life, get your kids, and, keep your head up high. The reason why, and we can go into it, I think the media. I think the media is the main reason why America is feeling the way they're feeling, because I don't think the media was given, I don't think the public saw when they came home from work or whatever they were doing at the end of the day and sat down and watched the news and watched some of these talk shows, they were lied to.
It's going to be very hard for people to accept that when they see the Brentwood butcher signs, the guilty signs hanging in the neighborhood that you lived in for years and years. The people that yelled out, "Killer in this neighborhood, we don't want you anymore." Now, are you suggesting that that didn't happen?
No, what I'm not only suggesting, what I am telling you is that night, if that was said, I didn't hear it, but someone said that night a group came. I would tell you that the majority of those people in that group was not from Brentwood. And I would ask any news media out there, you go back and you look at the video of that ride home. You look at me coming down Sunset. You look at me arriving at my home. The vast majority, I'm telling you, 95% of the people were clapping and giving me a thumbs up sign. Bob Kardashian and I, Bob was actually counting what he thought were negative reactions, and he said he counted 5 or 6. Now, there may have been a group of people in that 5 or 6. We saw 2 negative signs. We saw tons of welcome home OJ signs, yet the only thing that the media showed you that night were the Butcher of Brentwood sign that was near the freeway, and another sign that said murder.
I suspect, though, Mr. Simpson, that you've got to be hurting in the sense of, and I don't know if you're putting the best face on it with that, the idea that the country club you belonged to for years said they didn't want you anymore.
Well, they didn't tell me that, but I'm sure there are people there that feel that way.
Your management company that represented you?
Once again, you know, it's, I think the thing that I'm most disappointed in is the lack of backbone of organizations and people. This is America. I went through this ordeal, this grueling ordeal. It was horrible, and I sat there and I tried to do it with some dignity. The toughest thing was holding my friends and my family, my sisters. It was tough at times to hold them down and say, hey, we'll get through this. And I see people who will say one thing to me, yet they'll put a different public face on. And once again, we get into the media. You say my management company dumped me. What management company dumped me? They tried to sign me 15 years ago, and I wouldn't sign with them. They have not had a contract with me for 15 years because I wouldn't sign a contract for 15 years. Most of my business deals, I negotiate myself. Sometimes there are business deals that come to me that I think a certain person at this particular company is best at. He's my friend. He is still to this day my friend. And I will say, actually, Jack Gilardi. I'd say, Jack, here's the deal. A couple of times he has brought me deals, but I did not have a contract with this company because I wouldn't sign a contract with this company because I felt that I was the best person to negotiate my deals, and as I said, in a few instances, I would allow them to do it.
Do you at all understand the skepticism that people have? The doubt that they continue to have?
It's almost impossible if you are... I guess what I see people with a lot of negativism, you know, negative people with a bone axe. I think I am now a certain group of women, I should say, out there who has had a bad experience with a man who's been in an abusive relationship. I have become their whipping boy. You know, I am the guy that they look at. I guess, if I had to read what I've read, if I watched these shows and I heard every night them misrepresenting evidence in this case, I mean totally misrepresenting evidence and just flat out lying. I don't want to, I know they got advertisements for my video, but I talk about specific people in this country who have gone on TV and just flat out lied to the American public.
Mr. Simpson, here's the problem that people are having. Let's take two of the issues that you just mentioned. The idea that you have admitted to being in an abusive relationship with Nicole at one point in time.
Yeah, we had an abusive incident in our life, and we've had plenty of arguments, which I think any couple that's been together for any length of time will the worst thing you can have, that you can ever have, is have your argument taped. I would say anybody out there that's married, that's in a relationship, just turn a tape recorder on. The next time you have an argument and play it back, you will not believe that was you.
But stay with me because you even admitted at one point of actually getting physical, and you said you regretted that, et cetera,
totally
et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
There are people who suggest that